Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Basura Insegura. That's harsh. I, 20 male, get very insecure when my girlfriend, 21 female of 8 months, voices attraction towards other men, particularly men who do not look like me. I would like help stopping this. I have been with my girlfriend for about 8 months so far. Whenever she expresses attraction towards a male celebrity or even just another man, I get these pangs of insecurity. My mind begins racing and I start to compare myself to these celebrities, deciding whether or not I look anything like them. Oftentimes, I do not. These are men who are much better muscled than me, while I am extremely skinny in comparison. Lean overall, little body fat, but also very thin arms and legs. For example, earlier in the day, she and a friend we were with were talking about the Spider-Man movies, and when she and her friend began talking about how attractive Tom Holland was and how they'd F him, it made me feel a bit insecure. Another time, she said something like, "You're cute, but you're no Christian Grey," when she told me about how she watched the 50 Shades movies with her roommates, and then went on to gush about how attractive his body was. And if I'm honest, it made me feel very subpar in comparison. As stupid as it sounds, it made me feel jealous of that actor, that he could create that kind of reaction in her and that I couldn't in the same way. Now, this one isn't about physical appearance, but we were at an event on campus and there was an a cappella group performing. She said something, jokingly, like, "I'm going to have to find me a man who can sing now. You think that one of those guys would date me?" Immediately after the words came out of her mouth, she apologized, saying she didn't think her joke through and didn't really mean it that way. She's never said anything like that since, but it still left me at a moment feeling insecure that I wasn't good enough in her eyes. This happens other times with other celebrities, or when she says to me personally, when no one else is there, that she finds X actor attractive or something. I don't voice it to her in the moment. At most, all I do when she says this stuff to me is, I don't know what I'm supposed to say in response to that, or just laugh along or say, "Yeah, he's good looking, I guess." I don't know what to make of it when she says this stuff. Is she trying to get a rise out of me, knock me down a peg, or what? For me personally, this kind of behavior is very strange. I'd say insulting. I'd definitely never tell my girlfriend she couldn't match up to Ashley Graham or whoever and proceed to start gushing over how nice her boobs are or something, but I have no idea if that's normal or not. It's not. It does seem a bit petty to be jealous of a celebrity, and yet that's how I feel. If I had to explain my train of thought with my jealousy or insecurity, I suppose first she finds a man who looks better than me to be attractive. Then she finds other men who look better than me to be attractive as well. A pattern of what she finds attractive is made clear, and it's made clear that I'm not part of that pattern. Men who do fall into that pattern exist, and we are surrounded by them by virtue of being on a college campus. I think it's only a matter of time until she meets a man sufficiently more attractive, particularly muscled or built, than me before she cheats on me with him or leaves me for him. I realize that the above train of thought is rather paranoid, which is why I'd like help rectifying this line of thought. I guess it started in particular when she brought up early on the fact that her ex had roughly the same build as me. I jokingly said, "I guess it's your type," to which she said something like, "Don't get me wrong, I'd take a built guy over a really skinny guy any day." I felt like she was taking that opportunity to knock me down a peg, as if to say, "Don't think I find you that attractive or anything." I talked to her about that remark months later, and she apologized and said that she was just defensive in the moment I made that joke and didn't want me to think she was dating me only because I was skinny or only for my body type. She told me that she loves me and that she finds me sexy, blah blah, but I couldn't shake the feeling that it was just platitudes that she told me at the moment. It's worth stating that other than short times like this, she seems to find me attractive. She's always telling me how cute I am, and 9 times out of 10 when we're alone, she starts making out with me and she starts unbuttoning my shirt and things proceed from there. She tells me that she likes how I look without my shirt on and that she likes my penis and that I turn her on. And I'm the only one who makes her act like such a pervert. It's clear that she's attracted to me and finds me sexy, and yet because of all the stuff I've mentioned above, I still wind up feeling very insecure. I'm hesitant to bring up all of this stuff to her because, quite frankly, I feel like I'd be making my insecurity her problem unfairly. I don't want to be in a relationship where she has to tiptoe around my feelings, think about every word beforehand, and make sure it won't set my insecurities off. But I also feel it would be cathartic to speak to her about this. What should I do? Well, OP, I gotta say, I don't think this is a very healthy relationship. I mean, you say that you don't want to put your insecurities or make your insecurities her problem, but she's the one that's developing those insecurities by saying this kind of crap. First of all, I don't find it at all appropriate when any partner compares their partner's body to other bodies out there. Maybe, I don't know, in some kind of twisted way, she's trying to tell you to hit the gym or something, which is also, not called for. Why would you do that? Unless you want to change the person you're with. Which, again, in my opinion, is a no-no in a relationship. You don't try to force or change somebody you're with to fit an appearance that you want. And also, I don't understand how she feels like a pervert because of foreplay, because that's what you described right there. And one thing you are absolutely right about, OP, is that I don't think it would play well if you started comparing her to Ashley Graham or whoever that person is. I don't really know. Because that would turn this relationship into a really toxic one. OP, I think you need to analyze this whole thing. I would have walked out the moment she said she'd F somebody else, but that's just me. I don't know about you guys. What do you guys think about this situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. MCQ76 says, I was ready to be on your girlfriend's side based on the title, but actually I'm totally on yours. It sounds like she's nagging you. There's a difference between saying that a celebrity is hot and what she's doing. She's literally comparing them to you and saying the exact ways in which she prefers them over you. That is messed up and not okay. She may be insecure herself, which is why she feels the need to constantly undermine your self-esteem, but really, there's no excuse. You should really tell her how those comments make you feel and list the specific examples. Say how it makes you feel inferior and self-conscious and not good enough. If she doesn't change the behavior, you should dump her. And OP responds, okay, I should state that her outright comparing me to a celebrity was limited to a couple of times, but I can't help but feel that she's implicitly comparing me to these men due to the remark she made early on in her relationship about preferring built men over skinny men. Baby African Elephant says, if your problem is that her comments can be rude and sometimes compares you personally to other guys, then yes, you should talk to her because that isn't right. However, if your problem is the fact that she finds other guys attractive or more attractive physically, then you need to work on your own insecurities because you can't think you are the most attractive man in the world. Do you find models or celebrities attractive? Do you ever comment on actresses with your friends or around her? And OP responds, I suppose it's some of column A and some of column B. Most of the time the comments are pretty innocuous, but I still can't help but feel as if she's comparing me to these celebrities. I think as to the second point, I want to say that it's not something that consumes my day thinking about it. But that being said, when she makes these comments, it does make me realize the fact that she finds other men more attractive than me. Quote, do you find models or celebrities attractive? Do you ever comment on actresses with your friends or around her? End quote. Yes, but I don't show her pictures of models and go on about how hot they are. I don't really comment on them as much as she does, no. I sort of figured making these comments in front of their boyfriends was common for women to do, if I'm being honest. Her type seems to be the standard conventionally attractive men. Think 99% of popular actors, muscles, abs, etc. Boothkashi X says, yeah, there's recognizing other people are attractive and straight up talking about preferring to F and or date other people. your girlfriend is being really crappy to you, so you're either dating somebody who's actively trying to make you insecure in front of other people, or completely oblivious and inconsiderate to your feelings. Definitely talk with her, ask her what her motivation is for voicing those opinions, tell her how they make you feel, and request that, if she does find someone attractive, she express that in a way that doesn't trivialize or diminish your relationship together. And OP responds, quote, "Yeah, there's recognizing other people are attractive and straight up talking about preferring to F and or date other people," end quote. Look, in context, when she says it, it comes off as more thoughtless than outright malicious. If I talk to her about it, I'm going into this assuming that she simply isn't thinking before she speaks, rather than trying to nag me or something. Additional information from OP's comments. It's not that I'm upset that she finds standard male celebrities attractive, more so as she's made it clear that she likes a certain body type more than mine. I think that if she hadn't made that remark, I wouldn't be constantly comparing myself to these men. I'd have had an easier time accepting you can't find multiple things attractive if she didn't make it clear that, well, there's one specific thing she finds more attractive than others. Unfortunately for me, it's not a thing I have. Like I said, she apologized for the take a muscle guy remark, but it still bothers me, you know? That's the remark that plays over and over in the back of my mind whenever she talks about how attractive some actor is and how good he looks without his shirt on. To be honest, I always thought it was a normal thing for girls to be vocal about what they found attractive celebrity-wise, even to their significant others. Also, for what it's worth, I don't see many let it go comments. Most of you seem to think it's at least worth bringing up to her and telling her that it's hurtful when she says things like that to me. So, I'll do that. Alright, well, the community had some questions and some advice for OP, and apparently OP liked the advice and is going to do something about this whole thing. So, let's move on to the update to see what happened next and how the story ends. But of course, before that, here's another one of my playlists for you to enjoy after this video. Now let's move on with that update. So after reading your responses, I spoke to her about the comments she made and how they made me feel. She apologized and said that most of those times she'd meant them as jokes and that she never meant to compare me to anyone else. To be fair, we have an effed up sense of humor, so I can't blame her for joking about our relationship. However, she said that now that she knew how these comments affected me, she'd make sure not to say stuff like that again, and that she shouldn't have blatantly compared me to some other guys, even if they were actors or celebrities, or singers in an a cappella group. I also laid it out for her that a lot of those remarks, particularly "I'd take a built guy over a skinny guy any day," left a huge dent in my confidence. After all, what does it say about you if your own girlfriend would choose someone of a different body type over you in a heartbeat? I told her that her comments made me feel like I was just some consolation prize instead of the type of man she really wanted, and that I'd need a lot of reassurance that she was happy to be with me and that she didn't think, I wish I had one of those instead of my boyfriend right now, every time she sees a guy who's more built than me. She understood and told me that every time I felt a little insecure about our relationship, she'd be there to talk to me, and that she wished I had done so right after she made her comments rather than waiting so long to talk to her about them. And for what it's worth, she has spent plenty of time in the relationship reminding me how sexy she finds me, most of the time, de novo. When I first spoke to her about these insecurities and opened by asking her pointedly, "Do you think I'm attractive?" she replied with something like, "What girl wouldn't be attracted to your abs?" But she didn't answer the question. I, of course, understand that she could love me and want the relationship and still wish I were more built or whatever comments she made, but she still seems to be attracted to me. I'm still going to work out more, but it's not like she's completely turned off by me or actively looking for something better. This is my responsibility too, but I think I should be able to turn to my girlfriend of all people for reassurance that she finds my body attractive. And I'm not perfect either. I'm sure down the line I'll say something that strikes a nerve and makes her insanely insecure, and I'd want to know if I do because then I can take steps to fix it. She says she loves me just the way I am, so I suppose the least I could do in return for her saying that is to believe her. And if she dumps me for being a bit insecure and not being 100% alpha, then I'm effed. I suppose all I could do is cut my losses at that point. Ultimately, it came down to her not realizing how weird it was to talk about effing another person in front of your significant other. That's not just weird, it's disrespectful. So I suppose it ended well. Although it will take some time to rebuild my confidence. Thanks to all of you who took the time to read my post and give me advice. I really appreciate it. Well, OP, personally, I'm kind of stumped with this ending, but you seem to be happy and are going to continue the relationship, so I've got no other choice but to wish you the best. Hopefully it doesn't blow up in your face and that you guys are actually happy with each other. So here's wishing you the best in the future, OP. Thank you for sharing it. Please take care. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. We all know we need it. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user Troikos, fake vegetarian on flight. Okay, so just to preface this, I'm a cabin crew member, flight attendant. I've been doing it for over 10 years. Any issues that crop up during my workday, I will bend over backwards to accommodate people if I can. However, there are unfortunately a handful of people that are dishonest to try and get what they want. Fake injuries to try and get an upgrade, fake birthdays, you name it. People have tried it, and believe me, I've had loads of scenarios where people try to cheat the system because it makes them feel special or that they have one-upped me, I guess. Let me tell you about a fake vegetarian I had on board. He was flying in economy, coach, in the second from the last row. He wanted the pasta option. I apologized and told him due to popular demand we had run out in the middle of the cabin, but we had the chicken option instead if he wanted that. Without skipping a beat, he said, "I'm a vegetarian. Last time they brought me a meal from business class, so I will just wait for that." Now, this is something I would have offered anyway as a nicety, if available, as I'm not too much of a douche and I genuinely like helping people out, if I can. After all, it's a 747, not a 7-Eleven, as the saying goes. Laughing face. Anyway, the way he just expected it right off the bat before I could even offer a solution left a slightly bad taste in my mouth. And also, I smelled a rat. I was 99% sure that I had cleared in an empty packet of smoky bacon crisps from him earlier on, and no, they weren't a veggie brand as I have the same ones occasionally. I was certain that he was being picky and wanted a higher quality meal. Plus, any regular flyer would know how often we run out of the veggie option and to pre-order a veggie meal. I said, "It's unfortunate that you didn't pre-order a vegetarian meal. I will see what I can do for you though. Just give me 5 minutes to finish up here." Big smiley face. Anyways, I went up to business class. They had also run out of the veggie option. So I went up to first class and asked if they could spare anything. We ended up putting a few leaves together with a bit of dressing. Then I thought I could probably have some fun with this fake vegetarian. Cue Malicious Compliance. I brought it back down on a silver tray and held it above his eye line so he couldn't see what it was. I explained that unfortunately the vegetarian business class option had run out. But then he went to cut me off so he could complain, but I held my hand and said, "However," smiley face, "I managed to get one step further and got the last vegetarian meal from first class." Whoa! Then I pulled the linen cloth off the top of the tray as I placed the salad down in front of him. It really was a very basic but large salad and his face said it all. Laughing out loud face. His face went from smug, "Haha, I worked the system," to "What the F is that?" within 2/3 of a second flat. He then said, "I wanted something hot. I'll just have the chicken then." I put on a shocked face and said, "I cannot give you that, sir. I would feel awful." He responded with, "Don't worry about it. It's fine." I gave him an, "Are you sure you're vegetarian? Look," and brought back the chicken. By which point, it had been sat drying up in the oven a little bit longer. Bon appetit, winky face. Just to say, Even if he was a real vegetarian, he should have pre-ordered. The same goes for gluten-free, vegan, children's meals, diabetic, etc. Anyway, that's my story. OP, the stories you must have about idiots like this. I mean, you mentioned them in the beginning, but they must be very, very juicy. Like this one. Unfortunately, the chicken wasn't that juicy. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.